Hello, my name is Steve Samuel, and I'm from Design Visionaries. And I've got to say, the most fun that I have in my capacity as a design engineer, mechanical engineer, is the ability to envision something, envision some sort of project, and then do a hand sketch, and then put it on CAD, and then actually start making the parts. And the final wonderful part of it is seeing a product that somebody's actually using, or just seeing it as a physical rendition of what it is. This is just fantastic. So I'm going to draw a concept that I've been thinking of, and I'm going to go through the whole process. So the concept is pretty simple. It's a concept of a device, if you will, and the device is like it's like a device that opens up and releases a world. So it's like a birth, if you will. And so imagine that you have this device that you drop a world into. So you've got these marbles that will probably be about that big, and you drop them into this device, and there will be a mechanism that does that. And then the device is going to have some really nice shape add to it, and it'll be made out of wood, and the device will release this world into a atmosphere, if you will. This device will be automatically actuated, and so it's going to need hinges. It's going to need some sort of mechanism that we're going to actuate with a motor and a linkage and all of that. So there'll be these tabs on it, and it will hinge. So I'm drawing the tabs that will be connected to these linkages, and it'll have one that comes out here. So that'll look like this. Yeah, that'll kind of look like this. It'll be here. You won't be able to see the holes in it because you'll be looking straight on. Anyway, and so what we have to arrange for is each one of these sections has to open up, and it'll come out like this, look like that, somewhat like that, and this one will open up this way, and then the sphere will end up coming out and falling into this receptacle, and then there will be some way that we have the sphere going down into this one and going up and being recycled into where it's going. So that's the concept. So once you've done a hand sketch, and I do believe that in many cases it really is very powerful and very advantageous to do a hand sketch, then you can put it on CAD. So here is a rendition of this thing in CAD. This is an assembly, and what I've done is I've created a user expression so I can see how the parts would move. So for example, I have this yoke here, and I've got each one of these sections connected to the yoke. I don't have a pin there yet, but I will. Right now it's just an assembly with a concentric constraint. But what I can do is I can go to the expressions, and I can open it up. I can just use this user expression. So here's a 10 degree open, and there you can see the sphere. And what will happen is the sphere will fall into this orifice, and the orifice will have some tracking in it, so that the sphere rolls out to a certain point, and then we'll have a mechanism that throws it back in. Now this cage, this piece of geometry is going to go up and down, and it's going to have a linkage that goes from that hinge point to that hinge point, and that's really ultimately what's going to open this up like this. It doesn't have to open up. As you can see, this is 20 degrees, so it doesn't have to open up 20 degrees. I bet you 7 degrees is all it really has to open. 7 degrees, and that'll be enough to release the the world. So I'm having fun with this, and of course the most fun is to build it and see it work. In order to proceed, I need wood that's at least 3 inches thick. For each one of those sections that open up, they're 3 inches thick. And this is 1.5 inch material. So what I'll do is I'll cut 12-inch sections and I'll glue them together. I'll let them sit overnight. I'll put the right cuts on them. I'll put them together. I'll put them on the lathe, and then I can make that shape. So what I'm doing now is just creating some 12-inch sections. It doesn't have to be exactly 12 inches, so I'm not being too careful about my cut. And it's important that I wear my goggles always. And I need about 6 of these. There. Next thing to do is to get a little glue, some good wood glue, and I'm going to be gluing these things together. Put down a nice liberal amount, and I need 3 of these. Put them together like that. Give them a good rub there. That's a good coverage. And then normally when I put wood together, I don't want to mar the surface with the clamp, but this one, I'm going to be cutting so much of it away with the lathe that I'm not too worried about that here. Normally I would put a little bit of wood under each portion of the vise, but like I said, for this one, I'm going to be cutting so much of it away with the lathe. All right, here we go. We're finding this wood is kind of soft, so I am going to put some plating in between the vise and the wood, so that means it won't be damaged. Yeah, put that together like that, like that. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put this here. My first clamp is one of these. These are cool because you just put it there and you slide it like that. That's a nice clamp. You can clamp it this way. Do another one. Take the clamps off. Like so. Goes off in there. This end needs to be cut off nice and flat first. So this rigid saw is awesome. Happy with it. Now that goes up there like this, and I've got to cut it at a 30-degree angle. I'm going to release all of this again. And there's a little piece right here I'll have to cut off. Like this is going to go together with this, like this. And the last one goes in here, right? And each one of these will be a 120-degree angle. So one more. That one. This one. Perfect. This one is a little better than the other ones. Okay. Okay, so now they have to be fixtured to each other. Okay, so they've got to come together like this. And like this. Just like that. And that's how they have to be put on the lathe. I think this one, they should all be the same way, right? They should all have, yeah. Yep. So I'll be putting them together like that, and then I'll be mounting them on the lathe, and that way it's going to be perfect when they open up. They'll have a perfect fit. Good. So I took the 3 sections that I made, and I trimmed them and I made them nice and flat on the saw. As you can see, they all come together, 120-degree angle, and I put a nice little rubber band around them. Then I cut these little discs out of thin plywood, and this has to go right in the middle where they all come together. There we go. And I pre-drilled holes so that they're all going to stay together perfectly. When I put them on the lathe, I'm going to cut them, but they have to stay together, right? So we're going to use some very small screws here, little sheetrock screws. Yeah, okay, that was good. Okay. And then the other plate goes on. Okay. Okay. So now that I have this, I want to get rid of these corners. So I can put them on my little chop saw there that I'm using so much, and I can line it up. And one corner. Still want to get rid of this, and that I might be able to do with a spoke shave. There you go. So to take more of this wood off, so I don't have to work so hard on the lathe, I'm going to use this beautiful old-fashioned tool called the spoke shave, and this is a really great thing to use, as you can see. I am pulling it towards me, so I have to be pretty careful. Don't want to cut off anything that I need. better. Okay, now I'm going to mount this on my lathe, and for reasons that will become obvious, second, I'm going to need this little piece of geometry to be good. One goes in here like that. Ready to start cutting. The fun part begins. There we go. All right. So now it's mounted on the lathe, and it's time to see if it all holds together as we cut it. So here we go.